Welcome Northeast Conference fans to the latest NEC Now podcast on the NEC Overtime Pod. Today I am joined by Sacred Heart's Shannon Torres and St. Francis University's Michelle Narvaez to discuss not only their academic and athletic careers, but also the importance of Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you both so much for being here. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Shannon, we're going to start with you. When you're not competing on Sacred Heart's track team, you're hard at work in the classroom where you're majoring in communications and media arts while also minoring in biology and Spanish. And you're also a Spanish classroom assistant, Mud Magazine video content creator, and student ambassador. It's a very busy schedule, on top of your athletic commitments. Just on the academic side, why did you choose to pursue this kind of combination of majors and minors?
Well, actually, when I came to Sacred Heart, I came for a neuroscience major on the pre-med track. So after my sophomore year, I realized that wasn't for me and I wasn't having a good time. So I had to switch. And so after thinking about it all summer long, I decided communications. And I chose that because with the concentration in sports media, because I realized that in 2 years at that point, I would be done with track. And that was kind of sad to me because I've done it for a few years now. I was my life without sports would be so weird. So I decided to do that. And then after a semester of that, I decided to add the media arts major because I had a lot of interest in film. And so that's where I'm at today.
I would love to see some of those films at some point. You should send them to me. But yeah, I totally get that. I was technically a psychology major, but I played field hockey in college and I don't want to stop. And I loved journalism. I had a journalism minor. So it's let's put those two together and talk about sports. And yeah, just those extracurriculars, why are those important to you? The Spanish classroom assistant and
yeah, I guess when I came to Sacred Heart, I fell in love with it immediately. And so I wanted to become involved in things that really had a way for me to show how much I love campus and the community around it. So ambassador is new this year. I just became a student ambassador. I'm still in the process of almost training. And I had my first shift this past week, and it was really it was such a fun time to show their families why I love this school and why you should come here. And this year I'm also in student government for the yearbook editor for the senior class. And then Spanish, I have a minor in Spanish. So as I knew my professors and had a lot of fun in class, as a native speaker, they thought it'd be really cool for me to CLA, tutor those kids that, had a hard time or just needed it for a core class or just their major. And I've learned a lot through that. I learned a lot about culture and how it's so important to speak both languages.
Yeah, again, busy schedule. I have no clue how you have the time. Kudos to you. And Michelle, so I know you're a freshman, so you may not have everything kind of figured out academically. I know I didn't, that's for sure. But can you just tell our listeners a little bit about why you chose St. Francis to continue your academic and athletic careers? Because you're a member of the swim team as well.
Well, I made my decision. I went through the entire process before even seeing the university, before even being on campus. So it took me a while to make my decision. I had to discuss with other swimmers and other students. And I spoke to a swimmer that was also from Florida. So she gave me a little intel and everything. And she was she was one of the biggest reasons why I even decided to come here. It's small. It's everyone, everyone. I'm a freshman and I already know so many people on campus. And it's a great environment. I don't know, everyone knows everyone, you feel the professors speak to you and you can one-on-one with every professor. They never have issues. It's just I don't know, when you come here, for me, I feel I belong somewhere because of the kind hearts from everyone, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. And were you able to do your official visit? Because I've heard a lot of people weren't able to.
No, I was not. Yeah.
I'm sure that didn't help you with everything, but I'm glad you kind of ended up where you're supposed to be. That's really great. And okay, Michelle, we'll stick with you, then we'll go back to Shannon. Same question for both of you, just very generally kind of question. What does Hispanic Heritage Month mean to you?
I guess it means a lot of things. I didn't really have a connection with my Hispanic side until about maybe 15, 16 years old when I had to go live in Colombia for first half a year and then a year later for an entire year. I ended up having to train with the Colombian national team
Oh, wow.
and travel with them for over a year. So it was just a complete 180. I had to completely I understand all like Spanish now, but before I didn't. And so like, it was a change. So,
Imagine.
yeah. So I guess it just means for me after that year of experience, Hispanic heritage just means family and just being around people that you love and always having someone to talk to and care for you. And I guess, yeah, that's it really.
I mean, I can imagine that was a giant culture shock and so different.
Yeah, it was.
People to, train with the national team. I'm sure that was really helpful from an athletic perspective, but that's cool. Yeah, Shannon, same question to you.
Mine's a little different from Michelle. Actually, I guess Hispanic Heritage Month to me means like what Michelle said, like family. And I been to Colombia for every year until I got to college. So I actually haven't been to Colombia since 2016, which I realized, thinking about this interview, I was like, that's like a really long time. I used to go every year. And so it became really important to me once I came to college to actually find like it in me to think about like this culture that I have like maybe back home. Because like here I don't really I have like the Spanish minor and I know these professors, but I don't really like here with my housemates don't see like the same like household I did back home. So it was really weird to not like maybe hear my parents speak Spanish or watch TV in Spanish, stuff like that. So I think as I've grown older and now I realize that I haven't been in so long, it's been super weird. And I'm like fluent. So I think now if I talk, I have like an accent, which is like so kind of sad because I never really had one until I got here. And I think that's because I'm hearing it less and less. And the busier I become, it just, I think goes away because I don't hear my parents as often. So yeah, I think Hispanic Heritage Month means a lot just because it's that month where like I think about it a lot and I think about how much the culture has impacted me and how it led me to almost like grow up different in my household.
Yeah, and those trips every year, like did you have family back there or was it just like for trips just to, keep you kind of immersed in the culture, things like that?
Yeah, so my mom is Colombian and my dad is Puerto Rican. So my mom's side of the family is mostly in Colombia, all the way from her mom to her uncles and all like that. She only here in the U.S. She only has like her dad and her siblings. So we would go every year to visit my grandmother, who unfortunately passed away this past December.
Okay.
It's okay, thank you. So I haven't even like been over there. I hadn't seen her since I think she came to the U.S. once after 2016. But with the whole COVID thing and
yeah, definitely.
My mom like came back just in time actually because she was there for like December and then like kind of started to hit the year after. So it was kind of like good timing almost, if I want to call it that. But yeah, it was a lot just to visit my mom, to see her mom, and it was good for us. Like me and my little sister would always like have that month to speak Spanish like all month long and to visit our family and just step away from American culture for a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm glad like for you that you were able to have that experience. I'm sure it definitely helps you kind of stay connected. And again, another question for both of you. How have you seen your heritage kind of influence you in your sport, especially kind of growing up?
Well, when I'm in the United States, you don't really, the only like part I get from like my Hispanic side is when I'm at home, nothing, it doesn't really interfere with my training. But when I was training in Colombia, obviously you get a lot of it. It's just the environment's different because with Hispanics I feel like you're raised in a family environment a little bit more, so I feel like this your teammates like in Colombia where I was, they were just, I don't know, they had just different like personalities, I guess, a little bit more like louder, upbeat. The practices there was always music and always like something going on, and it's just that's different, I feel like, from the practices in the States.
Yeah, I played field hockey in Ireland for a little bit, and something I've heard a lot of people talk about, especially in Europe, but I want to know, like, you have a similar experience, but the way different kind of countries outside of the United States approach sports is very different with a different kind of intensity. I'm kind of curious, like, if you had that sort of experience, especially compared to, like, at the collegiate level.
I just feel like in the States, it's just a taken. Everyone's like so serious, I'm like in practice, I'm known for like talking too much and always being upbeat or like singing or something like that. So like when I'm in the States, people don't think that of me. But when I'm in Colombia and I'm training, everybody knows that I'm like that because it's just like, it's a more relaxed environment, I guess, down there. So yeah.
Yeah, I believe it for sure. Yeah, Shannon, just like if you had anything you wanted to add, feel free.
I don't think I have an answer. I mean, it would just be like, I don't know. Cause like my mom moved here when she was 15, didn't play sports. She kind of came here to graduate from high school and then go to work. And my dad in Puerto Rico, like didn't really play sports. And I was I'm the further oldest. So it's like, I guess sports wasn't something new to them because I was like really quiet growing up. But even when I went to practice or anything, it was just like they always wanted to make sure I was like committed and that I was having a good time. But I don't think if my culture really said anything about.
I mean, totally fine if it doesn't.
Yeah.
To ask, but yeah. So moving on, throughout Hispanic Heritage Month, we're encouraging our followers to engage with Hispanic culture by reading books, listening to music, viewing films and TV by Hispanic creators, among a bunch of other things. So what is something you can recommend our listeners try reading or listening to or watching?
Oh my gosh. I listen to like reggaeton, bachata, like a lot of Spanish music, like on a daily basis. And I like have a speaker and everything, and I connect to the Bluetooth speakers in the pool. So I already have like a bunch of students here listening to Spanish music, and it's like it's only the 5th week, so it's like exciting, I guess, because they're really interested now because they had never heard it before. So like, I don't know, just like I recommend like different types of music, like definitely like reggaeton is definitely like one of them.
Good, awesome. Our listeners, did you hear that? Gotta listen. And Shannon.
I agree. I have a playlist as well with Spanish music, whether it's Sebastian Yatra or Morat. But me and my mom also like to watch novellas. So last summer we watched on Netflix La Reina del Flow. And then this past summer we were watching Amar y Vivir, which are like Colombian telenovelas, and they're like super dramatic and they're really good. So I recommend those. So yeah, those are really cool to watch.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that like at home you'd be watching, Spanish TV with your family. So that's great. Okay, and just by way of wrap up, if you could highlight one thing about your Hispanic culture, what would it be? It could be honestly anything. You're welcome to repeat yourselves from something you said earlier.
I would say the celebrations. I feel every time in Colombia, the celebration is just 10 times more than it is in the US. Like my parents love having Christmas over there. And like Christmas to them starts at almost midnight and lasts all night long. And you go to bed.
Exactly.
And it's like the celebrations are so much more over there, and it's like so much more tradition. My favorite one, I think, is definitely one I went to in 2016 in August. Is like La Festival de las Flores, which is like a flower festival.
Yeah.
It's like a week-long festival of like things are decorated by flowers, cars, there's parades, and it's like represents like the end of slavery from at the end of like the 1950s or something. And it was just because men and women would carry like people up hills instead of like flowers. So that festival represents that. And it's just like they would farm workers would just like create these wooden almost figures and like decorate it with different designs of flowers. And there would be like contests of which one had the best design. And I just feel like the traditions and like the celebrations over there are just a lot more fun than they are in the US.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think my favorite, of course, either Christmas, because everybody, like all my friends, had to wait for the next morning to open presents and everything, and we got to open them at midnight. But I think my favorite would probably have to be Semana Santa, because I don't know. Whenever I've only had like experienced it once before, but it's Holy Week basically. So I don't know. You're right with the celebrations. They're bigger over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, thank you both for being on and kind of sharing your perspectives and a little bit about your background. I really do appreciate you both taking the time. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Of course. That was Shannon Torres and Michelle Narvaez, and this has been NEC Now.